we'll come back to this one. Go to the next one. Now, this is what Ish, Aleph, Yod, Shin. That means in the Hebrew, that means man. It's pronounced Ish. Now, go to the next one. Isha, go back, my fault, go back. Thank you. Isha is woman, taken from man. So again, if you understand these basic principles, you should understand what you're supposed to be doing. So when a man looks at himself, he said, you made an image and the likeness of God. And I know what God gave me to do first and foremost. He gave me purpose. He gave me commandment. A woman, you should know what am I? Taken from a man to be his helpmeet. See, there shouldn't be a question about what you're supposed to be doing in this familial unit. Let's pick it up. Let's go to the next verse. Where we at? We at Ephesians, the 5th chapter. Let's go to the next place. Ephesians, the 5th chapter. These are basic things that we should understand to repair our families. And that's really what it's about. When we apply these principles, we can bring peace to our lives, peace to our families, peace to society. This is Ephesians 5, and we'll pick it up at verse 28. And what does he tell us here?
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. Mm-hmm. Either loveth his wife or loveth himself.
Okay, so now a man is supposed to love. If you look at a woman and see where she came from, she is you. That alone, just like the dynamic between the Lord and when he made Adam should know, I got to serve the Lord. He the one made me. When you look at your wife, you say, I have to love my wife because she came from me. That's where the woman came from, the man. You love yourself, right? She is you. She's your counterpart, though. It says, so all men to love their wives as their own bodies. He said, he that loveth his wife loveth himself. Go ahead and read.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh.
No, it said, for no man ever yet hated his own flesh. Like, man, you see me today, quite frankly, abuse rates are 50-50. Men humbugging and women humbugging too. However, it puts this in the position or in the context of men being abusive. Why would you sit there and you wouldn't hit yourself in the eye? You wouldn't punch yourself in the eye. Why would you hit your woman? Why would you be abusive to a woman? You love yourself. Why won't you love your woman? It said, for no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth it and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. And that is the dynamic also that we have had to understand. That the dynamic between a man and a woman is parallel or is likened to the Lord and his church. Consider what the Lord did for his church. The Lord showed the greatest exhibition of love in doing what? Sacrificing himself for his church or his bride. So it said, for no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth it and cherisheth it, took care of it. Like you take care of yourself, why would you take care of your wife? You do what you have to do. This is what the Lord did for his wife. When you look at him even bringing the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, out of bondage, he provided for them. He paid a bride price, a dowry. He gave them the things that they would need and sustained them in the wilderness. He gave them of the best. Now, you're supposed to do the same thing. You're supposed to take care of your wife and love your wife. But let me say this. If you notice it, love is not just you doing whatever she says to do. Was that the case with the Lord and his people? No. We have to understand the dynamics and what it means for a man to love. Love for a man is sacrifice. Love for a man is protection and provision. Love is for a man is not capitulating to every whim that your woman may have, because quite frankly, you are the spiritual head of your family. That includes your wife. When you take a wife, you actually take possession of a woman. So it said, for no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished it and cherished it, even as the Lord, the church. Verse 30.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh and of his bones.
You see how he said that we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones? That's a oneness there. It should be some love there. But let's go to Genesis, the 2nd chapter, and verse 24. Genesis 2 and verse 24. When you're ready, brother, go ahead and read.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
He said, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Let me just show you one other thing. Let's go to, real quick, let's go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, because he called it Esau, but we want to read this first, and then we'll come back here. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and let's pick it up at verse 20. Just to see the dynamics and and so you can understand what role you play. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, verse 20. When you're ready, go ahead and read.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was a mother of all living.
So now what does that tell you? That tells you who is the subordinate and who is the one in authority. The man is the one in authority. He is even the one that named Eve. He didn't just call her Isha, a woman she was taken from man. He gave her name Eve. Can you go back one? One slide, I believe. So Chava, which comes from the root meaning life. Why? She's the mother of all living. But where did she get that name from? She got the name from her husband. Again, letting you know who is subordinate and who is in authority. Just like when you marry, even today, you take on the name of your what? Of your husband. That's again. Now today, well, I want to hyphen them back. I wish a woman would tell me I'm a hyphenate. I would not marry a woman that's going to hyphenate her name. Either you mine or you not. I tell the story. I know I got a relative. She hyphenated her name. She hyphenated not her maiden name. She hyphenated her second husband's name to her first husband. Ain't no way in the world I would marry you. Ain't no way. Either you mine or you not. And so so when it's yours, you can give it a name. Or in this case, the woman. But now let's pick it up at where we at now. Let's go back to Genesis 2 and verse 24. Let's read that again. Whenever you're ready, brother. Genesis 2 and 24.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife.
Go ahead.
And they shall be one flesh.
So it said so a man shall leave his father and his mother. So now again, where are you at in this role? Once you in your mother and father's house, you a child. But now you're going to take the role of if you're a man as a husband or a woman or a female as a wife. And you will cleave together and be one flesh. But what does it mean to be one flesh? Let's pick it up at 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. And here you find, again, he's dealing with order within the congregation. Paul is in Corinth. And the issue of fornication comes up. So this is the context here. But in this context, dealing with fornication, we can understand what it means to be one flesh. When you're ready, brother, 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 13. You can go ahead and read.
Meats for the belly, and belly for the meat.
Go ahead.
Meats. But God shall destroy both it and them.
So he's talking about all your lusts, right? Your vices, your desires that are contrary to what's written. He said meats for the belly and the belly for meats, but God shall destroy both it and them. Go ahead and read.
Now, the body is not for fornication.
He didn't make you to be a fornicator. You read in Leviticus, the 18th chapter, about sexual morality. He didn't make you to be a fornicator. Hold your finger here and we'll see what he made. Let's go to Hebrews real quick. Hebrews 13. Hold your finger here. We're coming right back. Hebrews 13. To see what is good. But there's some other things that are not. Hebrews, the 13th chapter. Let's pick it up at verse number 4, good brother. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and read.
Marriage is honorable in all.
He said marriage is what?
Honorable in all.
It's honorable in all. It is the first institution that he set up. He said there'd be one flesh. Marriage is honorable in all, and what?
And the bed undefiled.
And the bed undefiled. He talks about times to refrain, obviously, when that time comes for a woman. Or he talks about time for prayer and fasting and seeking the Lord. But no. He said in normal circumstances, marriage is honorable and all, and the bed undefiled. But what about those who are dealing in fornication?
But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge.
See, but whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. One of our big problems, go back to 1 Corinthians, one of our big problems as a people is we are dealing in so much sexual impropriety. In other words, we are engaging each other in a way, men and women, and unfortunately men and women in inappropriate ways. And it's leading, a lot of our problems actually stem from the bedroom. Because the reality is that you shouldn't be laying with somebody you're not married to. But now let's pick it up at 1 Corinthians 6 again, and let's pick it up at verse 13 from the top. Go ahead and read.
Meats for the belly, and the belly for meat.
Go ahead.
But God shall destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication.
Go ahead.
But for the Lord. And the Lord for the body.
See, he didn't make you to be a fornicator. Let's keep reading. Let's skip down to verse 15.
Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ?
He said, don't you know? Now we read about how there's a oneness, we are members of the body. We read about that earlier. He said, now you know that your bodies are the members of Christ. Go ahead and read.
Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot?
So now you one with Christ, but then you're going to lay down with a whore? You see how that's antithetical? You see how you shouldn't be doing that? Same way spiritually, like if you are the Lord, but then you're going to go worship some idols. That's Torah. You shouldn't do that. Go ahead and read.
God forbid.
God forbid. Go ahead and read.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
He said, don't you know, or what? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body, for what?
For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
He took you back to the beginning. So how are you one flesh? He's talking about you one flesh in sexual intercourse. Now understand what the Lord did. The Lord, he said, the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So he took this man, put him to sleep, cut him open, took his rib, fashioned the woman, brought him unto the man, and now they one flesh. So you went from being 1 to 2, back to 1. And you should not be one with a harlot. Because we'll find out the ultimate objective of being one, of even marriage. But now let's go back to Genesis. Genesis. We need to consider these things, and it is good. Many of us as adults, you being an adult for some time, you make some mistakes. But the younger people in here, you can do things the right way. Genesis, the first chapter, Genesis 1. And we'll pick it up at verse 26. What was the mandate that he gave? Go ahead and read.
And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness.
Go ahead.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air,
Go ahead.
and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
So now he said, first of all, he said, let us make man. So he made mankind. This is that us is the Father talking to the Son, because we're not made in the image and the likeness of angels. You see the description of an angel. We don't look like angels. We were made in the image and the likeness of Elohim, or of God, as it says in the English. Go ahead and read.
So God created man in his own image.
It says, so God created man in his own image. So it's almost like the Father said it, and then the Son did it. Because you read the Bible, the Father created everything through the Son, who is Jesus. This is before he came in the flesh. So God created man in his own image. Go ahead and read.
In the image of God created he him.
How did he make him?
Male and female created he them.
This is not rocket science. They act like it's rocket science today. What should I be doing? Look down. Look down. Just look down. Oh, then you'll know what you're supposed to be doing. You a male, you're supposed to be with a woman. You a female, you're supposed to be with a male. It says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And we'll find that bringing a man and a woman together is instrumental in the procreation of God himself. This is bigger than you. But go ahead and read.
And God blessed them. And God said unto them,
He blessed them and he gave them a mandate. Go ahead and read.
be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
This can only be done with a man and a woman. See, the appropriateness of a man and a woman coming together is the fruit that comes in a womb after a man and a woman come together. A man and a man coming together and a woman coming together cannot be fruitful. Thus, have you violated divine law as we read in Torah? You've also defied natural law and brought forth confusion and disorder when what the Lord gave you was all about order. And God blessed them and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, meaning fill this earth with what? Your kind. See, prior to this, he made vegetation after his kind, animals after his kind, but then he said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. After what? His kind. What did he make you to do or be? He made you to be God. Ye are God's children of the Most High God. This is part of that process that you have defiled with your foolishness. When I say you, I'm talking about people in general. How we're approaching each other, man and woman. How you're approaching sex. You need to understand that this is larger than you just laying down feeling good. So it said that God blessed them and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Go ahead and read.
And have dominion over the fish of the sea. And over the fowl of the air.
Go ahead.
And over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
And he gave you the institution of marriage to do that. He didn't give you, make you man and female with the right plumbing, so to speak, to bring forth children so that you can just lay with anybody and you don't like them, they're not going to be there, you can just terminate the baby. That's not what he made you to do. That's not what this mandate was about. He gave you a mandate, but he gave you an